welcome to the Council of Moms, where we figure it out. We work it all out. I'm Lisa Valentine Clark, mother of 5 and under no delusion that we're doing anything except coming together in solidarity and peace and harmony, hoping that not only can we have and influence our children, but that we can have some influence about anything. No, just kidding. Sorry, my mind just went off on to a different place there. A dark tangent. The Council of Moms. Our kids know us well, but we are on a first name basis.
Yes.
I love that.
I like that one. The Council of Moms. According to the chore charts we made, we've definitely earned a treat by now. For sure.
2 of them.
So many treats.
And as always, the Council of Moms made with real moms. And here they are, realer than ever. And I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Whitney Call. Hi, I'm the mom of 3 boys, young boys, lots of boys in the house. I am the single representative of estrogen and female life in my house. It's a lot of pressure, but I really love these times when I can get together with the ladies.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
My name is Ruth. I'm the mom of 4 children from 12, 10, 8, and 6. I have 3 girls, and the last Kabusi was a boy and has rocked my world. I'll tell you that.
I love it.
You got the boy, though. My name is Lindsay Clark. I have 7 children. Their ages are 22, 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, and 9. 5 girls, 2 boys. And 6 of them are living at home still. And so it's messy, crazy, chaotic, and it's fun. It's good.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for being here. And this is really a great highlight for me, because I just think that in all of the stress of being a mom, because we care so much, because we love so much, that really in sharing our experience with each other, it is really freeing, and we get to what we really feel the most. We get to the real heart of the matter. It gives us a clear perspective, a bigger perspective, and helps us do the thing that being a mom that we love doing, but that is so hard. So I really do feel personally like this just is so helpful. So thank you for offering your hard-won knowledge. Here is our question written in: Dear Council of Moms, I'm convinced that my kids hate sleep. Now that the older ones get to stay up later, it feels like everyone's on a different schedule, and I'm losing it. I dread bedtime. My kids dread bedtime. The more exhausted I am, the more energy they seem to have, and vice versa. What's the secret to managing sleep for a whole family?
Oh my gosh. What a question. I mean, you brought me here to share knowledge. I have 0 knowledge. So I can't
Lindsay,
wait.
tell us what you mean. Come on. Lean in. What's the sleep situation in your house?
Here's the thing.
Yes.
It is the worst it's ever been. My kids,
really?
Some of them aren't even really going to school because they're seniors in high school, and they just, I don't know what it is these days, but it's no one really goes to school. So it's Friday night at our house every night. No joke. So we're getting home. We always say midnight. You have to be home by midnight. And we make them turn their phones into our room, which ruins your sex life. Let's just say that. It ruins everything.
Sorry.
Because you're waiting for them to bring phones in, right? So then you're watching TV, but you're so tired.
You just
and then they come in and then they want to talk. And you don't want to miss that. Right? Because they're talking about all the things they've done. But my husband wakes up at 5 every morning. So we have the new sleep thing where it counts how many hours you get, and he's averaging 3 every night.
Oh, that's not good.
We're a mess. We're a mess over here. We try and lay down rules, but it just doesn't seem to work. And I really don't know what to do. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Okay, we got to help a girl out here. That sounds horrible, but I understand the whole thing about you want to be awake when your kids get older, when they come home, because my kids were always just go to bed. Because I'll be you don't be crazy late tonight because I need my sleep. And they're like, just go to bed. I'll wake you up when I come home. And I'm like,
No,
because
no.
No.
that I just don't feel like I can do that for safety. Also, I'm a solo parent. Like the buck stops here. Also, if there's an accident, if there's something, or they need to talk and there's a crisis, or I mean, you want to
Yeah.
be available, and
Yeah.
so you can't change that. It's
What
just,
have you
but
done though, Lisa? Because you are solo parenting and you have to
oh,
wake up
I've
and go
cried
to
a
work
lot.
and
Does
yeah.
crying count?
that counts. Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly, it's been really hard. I feel like I just feel like I had to get through it for a minute. Because at one time I was working I'd have to get up at 4:30 in the morning, and that's what killed me. And so it was like, we tried to be like, okay, you can have 2 nights out of the week, like when they're teenagers, that you can stay out late. And then everything else before that, like you need to be home at 10. So like sometimes it's Friday night and Saturday night. Sometimes it's Thursday night and Friday night, like whatever. Like, but I'm like 2 nights because I'm like, we can't live like Friday night every night. So that was one thing we did. And then also like parking their phones. Yeah, we did that too. Also, there's no answer because this is horrible, but like they've done studies. You guys, it's science. It's neuroscience. They do stay up later and want to sleep later. This is why there's all this research saying we should start school later and, and et cetera, and sports and all that kind of stuff. But we haven't. And also, you haven't changed your parents' 9 to 5. So it doesn't matter that they want to stay up later and sleep later.
Yeah.
But you know that there's a biological function. You also know that kids need more sleep because their brains are still developing as well. I have tried to give my kids the scientific explanation for why my parenting makes sense logically.
care?
And they're not interested.
No.
Weird. So I just try to do the best that we can, but try to stay like with the 2 nights being late, but the other nights, please don't be late and please be respectful of sleep and time. But it's hard.
Yeah.
I have not as much personal experience to offer on this as my children are still quite young, and they're all like basically the same age. They're about a year and a half apart.
Wow.
But I do know that like with teenagehood and the sleep turning slightly more nocturnal and all of that, it almost reminds me of just that phase with young babies where you just recognize, okay,
Yeah.
for the next like 5 years, I'm not going to get the sleep that I want. And obviously this is me just being like, hey, like, because I'm shouting down the void that is my future. But it was not it was not that long ago that it was my past. It was like, the last couple years basically. And recognizing, my parents did the same thing where they would have, if you have both parents at home, having one parent stay up at a time, that often can be really helpful. I also know that, 360 and Find My iPhone, any tracking stuff has been really helpful for all of my friends. I think at the end of the day, it's really just like, can this be sustainable for our family? And if it's not sustainable for you, I do think that there can be some wiggle room on both ends where it doesn't need to be, okay, my kids get to have all the nights that they want because this is just how their brain functions, and that's probably just going to take some like test and see. That's my on paper answer.
No,
Those are good
totally. I think
ideas.
you have to, you have to show your kids all your cards. I need sleep because of this. This is why, like, I don't function well in supporting the family. I need sleep. Can you help me solve this problem for me? Instead of just putting it all on them just thinking about themselves and what they want to do, but just,
Yeah.
I mean, I do feel though that I might have overcorrected. I mean, as my kids got older and older and wanted to live at home, I do think that one of the reasons why a lot of my kids wanted to leave home during college is because they knew I was going to stay up. And they didn't want to have to like negotiate that or I'm like, my house, my rules kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I need to sleep. And for whatever reason, I can't sleep if I don't know where you are. And if I wake up at 3 a.m. and I know you're 20 years old and that you're in college, and I don't know where you are at 3 a.m, I don't care how old I don't care if you're 42. I want to know that you're safe because we live
Yeah.
together. And I can't just
Yeah.
turn that off. And anyway, that is an older kid problem and situation. And I realize that, but I think that the principle is fundamentally the same, where you're
Yeah.
teaching your kids that like your behavior affects me. Let's negotiate it. How are we going to talk about this? And I
Yes.
think
I
you can
will
introduce that
say-
to kids a lot younger than you think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, having all three of my boys, they all sleep in the same room. And they basically have since they were like 2 or 3 years old. And one of our kids is a very light sleeper, early riser type of person. One of my kids with his ADHD, it's like he really needs like a calm down time at night. And so there is sort of, right now it's easier because they all kind of have flexible schedules and things like that. But I think we do tend to look at the lowest common denominator and just see like, okay, what is the squeakiest wheel in our family need, and can we adjust the culture around that? And I know with young kids that's been helpful. So we all, no matter what, obviously some nights we don't get to it, but most nights we turn in an hour before bedtime up to their room, and we keep like all the lighting low. We have like the hyper arousal, like tamping down music that's playing in the background that's just like helping them know like, okay, it's like, muscle memory at this point, where when the music is on, when the lights are low, this is when like we're reading books, we're doing very like, minimal activity kind of thing. So then our ADHD child has a chance to calm down. And by that point, like everyone's great, everyone's ready for sleep. When it comes to waking up, we have another kid who would wake up at 5 if we let him. We give him like a hard line of like, okay, 6:30. At 6:30, you can wake up. But we can't wake up everyone else. So what we've done is we have like little reading lights that they use. And so he can read by himself. He can do a quiet activity. It's just options.
Yeah.
We have to have a buffet for everyone's needs, but also with the clear expectations of what the boundaries are. So it's like no waking up before 6:30, no, staying up past 8:30. And that's just where my kids are developmentally. But I know it's helpful to just get everyone on board and know that it's not like no one is thinking, well, we have to all go upstairs right now because of this brother. It's just as a family, we all know now we take, whatever we're doing, we take our journals into that room and we just all do our calm down right there together. And I think it makes it more of like like this is just what we all do, for what it's worth for young kids.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love that. I love that. I mean,
I love it.
sleep is a need.
I got it.
I think sleep is essential to our survival.
Yes.
And and it's really interesting. I mean, you look at I've recently for my own self-care started waking up to go work out. Yes. It's been a hard
Nice.
thing, but I'm doing it.
Atta girl.
And it's so funny listening to a podcast saying, first thing you want to do is make sure you get enough sleep, because that's where muscle repair happens. That's where weight loss, so many great things. And like you were saying, Lisa, so much research on the importance of sleep, right? So sleep, we just know is so important. But I feel like for us, it has been kind of a negotiation, helping them understand my why and their why. I mean, when they were little, and there's so much out there too on how to do this. What are the pros and cons of sleeping when you look at just the different age groups? And there's so much good information out there. And I would just look at that. I would just counsel moms out there. There's good information. Great. Look at it. See if it fits your family. See if it fits you too. Because I'm a mom that if I have kids sleeping with me, I can't sleep.
I know. I can't either.
I can't rest.
Nope.
There are other moms out there that just
they
can
thrive doing that.
and
Right.
thrive, and I applaud them. But I can't. But for me, in my house,
Yep.
No.
We will sleep in our own
Our own
beds.
beds.
Yes.
Exactly.
As for me in my house,
as for
we
me
will
in my
sleep
house,
separately. Yeah.
absolutely. And so it's essential, but getting them to be on that same team of why sleep is important. One of the things that we've recently done is, and I'm not good at this, but I have it, on the wall somewhere, but just incentivizing sleep a little bit more,
Oh,
age
okay.
appropriately. So, and routine. I think routine is helpful, kind of Whitney, what you were saying. Um, while also recognizing, my kids love stories at night, and some nights I'm like, Mom is tired and Mom needs to get up early.
Yep.
There's no bedtime today. Love you so much.
Mhm.
Right? But routines have really helped, but incentivize. So we talk about as a family before the week starts. Or maybe midweek, some weeks are kind of like that. We can
Yeah.
catch it whenever.
Whenever.
But we say, okay, if we can follow our routine, morning routine, after school routine, going to sleep routine, or whatever it is, what do we want to do on Saturday? And
Oh,
kind
I
of
like
giving
that.
them a little bit of being in the
Mhm.
driver's seat of deciding what the
Mm.
reward should be. And we've just seen some really good improvement, at least and a more effort, because really
Yeah.
that's at the heart of getting to sleep, is getting the kids to actually feel motivated and engaged in going. And so just, for my kids are foodies, which I absolutely adore because it
Yeah.
fits my personality just
Yeah.
beautifully. And they like to try new things. And so, we're like, well, where should we go? They're like, oh, there's this new place that I was looking at, and I was okay, let's put it on there. And if we can do these things, we got to work as a team. This is a team effort, everyone, and not to put someone on blast, but we will. We will leverage anyone if we're not working as a team, because it does become kind of a family effort to be able to
Yep.
have sleep for everyone.
No
It
kidding.
does.
I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't used anything formal like that, but I have found myself saying, I'll give you $1 million if you go to bed right now.
Totally. Anything.
I will give you $1 million. Or I always swore that my dad used to say this all the time. And I was like, that's rude. And I swore I would never say it. And I did. But I'd be like, you're killing me. You're killing me. I'm not going to get enough sleep and I will die. You guys, you're killing me. Or he'd always be like, you're killing your mother. You're killing her by not going to sleep. And I was like, I'll never say that. Well,
Now you
shame
know.
on me.
Yeah. Now you know.
You're killing me.
They are
People
though.
die. This is how they
So
torture people with
hard.
sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a form of
Yep.
torture. And I
Yep.
try not to be so
do.
dramatic, but about sleep, I have been. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's
You have to
the.
get it.
And I
mean,
will say, studies show that women need more sleep than men. So
Yes.
really.
I also
They're not
tell my-
talking about this.
Wow.
9 or 10 hours.
9 or 10,
9 or
not
10
this,
hours.
not this 7 or 8. No, we need.
No.
Yes, we are complex systems.
Science.
Our brains are super highways,
I
Lindsay.
love
We need
it.
more sleep
Because
we are
of hormonal
processing a lot more.
changes.
Yes.
A lot
Yes.
is happening. A
Amen.
lot of
Can you
things are
believe
happening. Yeah.
what has been slipping through the cracks of our bodies that we
Wow.
just don't know about?
Council of
Wow.
Moms will talk about it because it
Come
will
on,
save
science.
moms.
Wow.
Science backs
Science.
this council up. It is time we met and
Scientifically
solved
backed.
this.
Those naps
Wow.
we're taking, we're
I'm
just
not kidding.
following.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I mean,
So
I
spread the word
my
because no one
sleep.
else will do it. Council of Moms
Nope.
has to do everything.
9
We
to 10
got
hours,
this.
guys. I heard it on the COM.
You
Council
heard
of
it on
Moms.
this. So not only do we need more sleep, but we have got to make things better for our kids because we know that, like, statistically, especially for our daughters too, like our society isn't supporting or incentivizing sleep.
No.
We are a hustle culture
Yeah.
about productivity. And so because we don't value it, we've got to like nurture our children into believing and valuing sleep, and not just sporadic sleep to be thought of, but like to set up their day for it. And we're
Yeah.
fighting against a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm realizing that I am probably the problem.
Well,
Because
we're not
I'm
saying that. You're not the
No.
problem.
You
I
never.
am.
You are the solution, but you're not the problem.
But I have to do work to be the solution because I am a night owl for sure. And so I kind of enjoy, like, it doesn't bother me when the kids are up, honestly. And when they come in and talk to us
Okay.
at night, I kind of love it. And it'll be like 10:30 and my 9-year-old's still out and we're talking and laughing. And I'm clueless as to what time it is. But for my
Okay.
husband, it's really hard.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I need to do a better job of making that like a priority. And then I sleep in. I mean, I wake up, the kids have school at 8:30 and about 8:20, I'm like braiding hair in my bed. Like we're so opposite. But like you said, Whitney, like my husband kind of does the mornings, I do the nights. That works
Yeah.
for us.
The
It's not
shifts. Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
ideal. If I could go back in time to when my kids were all not young, so we weren't sleeping, but that middle ground where
Yep.
like we would button up the house at night,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
and I would like put the last bit of the laundry away and we'd watch a show. That was the best. Those were the best of times. It is not
Yeah.
that way anymore. There's no such thing as buttoning up the house. It hasn't been buttoned up in
Yeah.
years. It's just,
But you bring up like that's
wild.
Good to
important, I
know.
think, for like in a
It's wild.
marriage too, is that you have time to connect without the kids. And I remember loving that when you put the kids to bed at like 8:30, and then you could watch a show together with your
Oh.
spouse and
Mhm.
like
the
and
best.
so thinking about like what you're giving up
Yeah.
makes you kind of rethink that of like we need just some time together. And I think being really
Mhm.
honest about that with your kids as well,
Mhm.
that they might understand more. But what I'm realizing through this discussion too is that what's hard for us is not that we don't know we need sleep or how to implement it, but these transitions are hard.
Yeah.
When you're transitioning to having older kids or transitioning to being a solo parent or a new job or a different
Mhm.
sleep schedule or needs, like all of those transitions just it's such a delicate thing that it completely knocks it off balance. So transitions we need to I think be more intentional about
Yeah.
Mhm.
adjusting whatever that adjustment is. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
Talking to the kids, that's what I'm learning. I need to actually like
Mm.
set up some rules, make us some kind of schedule. It's just too chaotic now because they can just kind of rule the roost, you know? And it just
Yeah.
happens and it's like, well, I'm having fun. I'm talking to them, but
Yeah,
it
because if it
really
plays
isn't
to
healthy.
your strengths and you like it,
Yeah.
that
It's
makes it
fine.
hard. No, but that makes it harder to
Mm.
change it, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
to be like, I actually do need sleep and I should be waking up at least at 8 to help people get off to school. I mean, we're late to school every day. We've always been this way though. We're very backward with our sleep. And I always want to get a handle on it, but
mhm.
You know
it's
what,
very
Lindsay,
hard.
though, like don't should yourself. When I notice there's like a discrepancy, why I'm not to be
Yeah.
doing. And I think the best way to get there for me isn't to be like, oh, like dang it. It's really
No.
just like,
Uh-huh.
okay, like I understand why I'm where I'm at. And that's like I'm doing my best. And just like
Right.
give yourself that like compassion
Okay.
and you'll make baby steps. That's how it works. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
overnight.
It's
Oh,
so
I
true.
like that.
And
I like
comparing
that.
yourself
Okay.
and to a standard is like it's not as inspiring as it is to acknowledge that like you're doing the best that you can, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to do the thing because Christopher, my late husband, would always be like, I know you're really tired. You go to bed. I'll wait up for the kids. I'll take that shift.
Yeah.
And now that that's not an option, it really like it makes me mad.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I get real mad and it brings up a lot of griefy stuff too. And so it's
Yeah.
not just about sleep for me
Yeah.
all of the time. It's about like, hey, I don't have the ideal situation. I have a hard situation. I know what the
Yeah.
solution is, but I don't get it. Like, and that does me no good. It
Right.
does
Yeah.
it like feeling bad and guilty of like how much better my kids' lives would be if they had a like that doesn't
Yeah.
help.
No.
Mhm.
But it's totally human and natural. But if I go, well, sometimes I'm going to be tired. Sometimes I'm just going to tell them to come home earlier than they want to. Life goes on,
I
and
like that.
it's gonna be okay. You know,
Yeah.
but like ideal situations, beating
They
ourselves
don't
up,
exist.
it doesn't. Yeah, nobody
It
has it.
doesn't exist. And you know what?
Yeah.
That just reminded me. I know I'm talking a lot, but it reminded me of something. I think like what you're saying, Winnie, like we should do this. And even saying, I want to do the best I can. Like
Yeah.
I actually hate that saying. And my neighbor said in French, I have no idea. I'm just throwing this out there. In French, that's not the translation. It's doing what's possible for you. Like they don't say
Ooh.
doing your
Ooh,
best.
yeah.
You do what's possible. So as you're saying that, Lisa, I'm just like,
Yeah.
maybe I need to just have those thoughts of like, I'm doing what's possible. And
Yeah.
sometimes I need to put the hammer down more. And sometimes I need to say, I need to talk to my kids, and we just do what's possible. But you kind of have to just hang on during some of these phases because they're rough.
And it's
Yeah.
hard to admit that to your kids too. Like I had a really hard time in my life where I just felt overwhelmed. I got sick. I got an autoimmune disease, and part of what my doctor said is you need more sleep. And so I just came to my kids who are young adults who are living at home, and I was like, "Hey, like for my health, I have to do this, and I feel really dumb, and I can't just like grin and bear it, and like I
Yeah.
have been, and I need you to help me get more sleep." And to see them like be like, "Oh, now let's go get ready for bed, mom," and kind of
Aw,
like
yeah.
like be aware of that is maybe something that would have killed me earlier to have admitted, but I just was desperate enough to ask for their help in helping me like help with my health problem that they did. And
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that we need to put all of our stuff on our kids, but I am saying that like you cannot go without sleep sustained for years and if and be under the assumption that it won't affect you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
would say we have to be so aware of how so things that we value, things that are good, things that, stay talking with our kids, reading them every book they want. All of those things are things that we want, things that we cherish, things that we look for. And sometimes our fear of not aiding to every moment that the kids are asking for that
Mm.
makes us feel like, oh, well, a good mom would follow through and just sacrifice herself, her
Yeah.
sleep,
Mhm.
her time.
What if this is the conversation that
Classic.
changes
Yeah.
their life and it can only
Yeah.
happen at 3 in the morning?
Yeah. Totally.
Yes, yeah, and all of that, again, back to that mom guilt. I think that's,
So
we
true.
all fall
Mhm.
into, because we're
How do
human.
how
But
do you weigh that though? Because I guess
Right.
just by your mood, right? If you're going to feel resentful and tired, and like, how do you say, oh, I can have this conversation now? And sometimes you're like, I don't know. How do you
Like,
know?
let's have it tomorrow at
Mm.
3 in the afternoon. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's hard to judge that, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
and again, I think for me, what's helped is and it's putting myself first, and that feels so to say that, but it
Yeah.
is, if I'm going to show up as the best mom tomorrow, um, then I've got to figure out what I need to do today. And I think that, Lindsay, I think that looks different for
Yeah.
different,
Mm.
moms out there.
Mhm.
And maybe and like I said, some nights I can read all the books and some nights I can't, but it's this open communication of where I'm at and why it's
Mhm.
important that we come back to what we need to do for that end goal, you know. Anyways, I just want to put it out there that
Yeah.
I fall into that oftentimes too, feeling like, well, a good mom would do this
Yeah.
and
Me too.
and martyr,
Yeah.
myself in the name of
Yeah.
my child growing up with all the all the good things.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's a surprise how much self care I need. And I feel really bad about that because it's like, well, I need sleep. I need my workout in the morning. I need my quiet time without anyone home. Please don't come home until
Mhm.
2:40. And now
Mhm.
you're all home and I need a little break from you. Like sometimes that guilt of like, what can I handle? Wow.
Mhm.
I really can't handle a lot. And then I feel so guilty. So then I want to be there at the 3 a.m. talk because I'm like, anyway, I don't know. That was a random comment, but I do feel
It's
like
not random
there's
at
a
all
lot of
because
self care.
I think it gets to the root of this question of like is there a secret? Why is this so
Yeah.
hard? This sleep for managing the sleep. Like what's the secret? And
Mhm.
the secret is there's no
Yeah.
secret.
Oh,
There's
And that
no
it's
secret.
different for
You can
everyone.
tell.
No, that it's hard because sleep is just the symptom of should I be at a 10 ready and waiting and available to my kids at all time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At a 10 all of the time. Sleep just uncovers how you feel about that, I think. You know,
Yep.
like yes, at 3, like you're never it really like reveals how difficult and all-encompassing being a mom is, because the expectations are that you'll know what to say, you'll have the perfect thing to say, and you'll be perfectly patient 24/7.
Yeah.
And we all know what like happens when people are sleep deprived for 24 hours. It's like driving drunk or whatever. Again, me with the science and the statistics. I have studied. Yeah.
Look at you.
Very-
But yet
very
we're
good
supposed to
facts.
do this sustained for 18 years, 20 years, 26 years with no break while we're having children and establishing careers and friendships and relationships. Like there has to be a nurturing for moms. That's
Yeah.
that like if you choose your non-negotiables as a mom, but you can't do without sleep. You just can't. And expect to give your kids the best, whatever that means, which is going to be different. It's because it's going to be based on their needs and your abilities, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I do
Yeah.
like to bring, my spiritual belief into it. I do believe that that spiritually is like all God asks of us, right? Like and that best is what's possible, right? And I don't think that we were meant to sacrifice relationships and our personal development to be a mom. I don't think that's what is wise and what is expected.
Right.
I
Well, and what's
don't.
possible
Yeah.
is
And what's
going to
possible.
change between person and from like day to day, from hour to
Yeah.
hour, right?
Yeah.
When you look at
Yeah.
like, because I have to remind myself, sometimes my 100% is like, well, but 2 years ago, that would have been my 30% because I, was
Yeah.
go, go, go. And you just have to recognize. And sometimes I can recognize, okay, today it's my 80%. Maybe I could try something, but that's very rare. That's a
Yeah.
very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting realization for sure. Is to think, judge yourself off of yourself 3 years ago of like,
Yeah.
really? This is my mothering now, my capability. It's just seems like it's dwindling. I did so much when they were young. We went to the library, we played with Play-Doh, we did all these things. And now I'm like, I don't even know if I can be around you guys for more than an hour a day. It requires so much emotional energy. And that
But I
sounds
also
terrible,
know that
but-
you're there when they need you to, and that they're different
Sure.
kids. It's a
Sure.
different family, and you've provided them with things that you're overlooking now that
Yeah.
count and fulfill their needs in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
and I would-
Just
totally
because you don't
changes.
acknowledge it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
And I would say,
Okay.
Lindsay, I've had the opportunity to be on the Council of Moms with you a couple of times. And, I would even look at your own growth, not just on what your output is, but just being able to see like what you've been able to do for you as a mom, as a person, as a human, from when your kids were little to now how, older. But you've done a lot, and
A lot.
that's awesome.
Ruth, I'm
Yeah.
going to write that down. You are a
So you're
therapist.
doing it.
I like that. Well, just that fact of like the output might be different, but you are changing. You're learning.
For
I
sure.
like that.
And you're judging yourself on an old rubric, right? Like, and you could always take the Council of Moms and send it to your kids.
Ooh, sure can.
You'll be like, look what we talked about. Do you have anything to add? Point, counterpoint. No? Okay.
It's a great idea. I don't even have to talk to him. Just listen to this tonight and go to bed. See what you learn.
There you go.
I love it. The Council of Moms changing families. We'll help you with the Council of Moms
parents.
will help you with your parenting. Yeah, we'll sure. Yeah. We'll roll up our
We'll
sleeves
put the
and get
kids to
work.
bed.
Yeah, we'll put the kids.
Oh, I like it.
We'll
That's
put the
it.
kids to bed. That's it. That's it.
Now sing him a lullaby, guys.
I love this. This has been really helpful to me. Thank you for sharing everything that you guys shared, because I didn't realize, but like I do carry some guilt about that and comparing myself to, I know I need sleep, but I want to be there for those magic moments and And where is that tension? And I thought I had sort of dealt with it. So I really appreciate having this discussion personally. So thank you. Thanks to the Council
This is
of Moms.
great.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. The Council of Moms is a production of BYU Radio, and you can subscribe and share with a friend and find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. We're also on YouTube, where we have lots of big expressions and rolled eyes, and sometimes an occasional kid in the background making himself a bowl of ramen. That's what
right.
we give to you on the
right.
Council of Moms. Thanks.